All right, welcome to Real Talk, Brave Moms Live. I definitely need to write that down somewhere so I know what I'm saying when I'm about to say it. That would be a good idea. Today's Thursday, and we're going to call it Test Real Talk. It's okay. It's still trial week. We have a couple days.
Can we just,
It's yeah.
Katie can't figure out that she has to have earbuds and that it's going to loop through the audio. That's what's happening, y'all. So, still, we're probably having a looping issue and it'll be over in a minute. I apologize. It's me that cannot figure this out, but I will. I'll figure it out. Thank you, Alyssa. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to call it Testimony Thursday, and we have one of our most favorite brave moms here today. We call her Hannah the Brave. And we have been talking this week about power struggles. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Katie and I talked about what's a power struggle, and she talked about an example of that. We also talked about kids, particularly kids, our kids, having their natural outcome of their choices, letting them sit with that. And then Wednesday, we talked about authority. Um, I think she asked, what do you think of when you think of the word authority? Just kind of starting to think about our relationship with that word in our minds. What thoughts come to mind? What is our history with it? And she talks about knowing your value and knowing your own personal authority, like gaining authority with yourself and then gaining authority with others around you. So, as moms, that's really important as we train and disciple our kids. So the first person that came to mind on these topics was Hannah the Brave, because she has had some great examples that she's brought to our community about having power struggles with her kids and then working through that, gaining authority with them, and having some beautiful fruit on the other side. So, Hannah, is there one particular story, or if you have more than one, that's great too, that comes to mind that you would want to share with us? Any particular kid that's popping into your brain?
My son. I think of him because I think he's the one I've had the most. Well, I had the power struggle with him first, I guess. He's the one who actually, of all my kids, pushed me to Brave Moms because I realized I couldn't keep spanking him like I was because what it was becoming was abuse because I didn't have the authority with him that I needed to have. So I knew there had to be something else that wasn't spanking. And so I remember last summer, I guess it was, I think, being having him having fits. We own a laundromat and we would be at the laundromat and he would be having fits. Um, and it's a public place, so having him screaming was very embarrassing. And I also couldn't be spanking him at the laundromat either because that was not okay. And so I started to learn, that pushed me to learn how to end the power struggle with him. And I was able to, what I learned to do is just take away his freedoms and be okay with taking away his freedoms. Like that was a wrestle in my heart. Like I can't take away his freedoms. Like, but that's what it took. And as I would take his freedom from him, and he saw that that was serious, and I still loved him, like I wasn't, it made it where it freed my heart to where I could love him while taking away his freedoms. And then I would sit there and be like, man, Cedric, I am so sorry that you don't get to participate with us. Like when you're ready, let me know. And then he would throw a fit worse. So then a bit, we have a shed out back and he would just sit in the shed. I'd be like, dude, I'm sorry, but you can't even be in the building with us now. You're going to have to sit in the shed and you're welcome to come back in the building as soon as you're able to not scream at us. He'd be like, I don't want to sit in the shed. I'm like, man, I don't want you to sit in the shed either. Like, do you think you could stop screaming now so you don't have to go sit in the shed? And many times he did. He would sit out there and he would think, and then he'd come back. And then eventually got to be where he could sit on the couch And I'd be like, dude, just sit on the couch and think about it for a bit. He's like, okay, I got it. And it is so cute now because it's almost a whole year since then. And he almost never, we don't have this power struggle anymore, almost ever. Because he knows somehow, and I'm still learning, it's communicated to him his value. Because he's got value in my eyes now. And also making a mess was something he would do a lot. Like he would, in his anger on his way to the couch, he would, throw things all over the place. So I've learned to have him clean that up as he goes, as he comes back to me. It's like he's got a path to walk and he's on the couch with nothing. And before he gets back to me, he cleans up his mess. And he does. And whenever he does make a mess now, he just cleans it up on his way back to me. Like he is a valued human to me. And our relationship is so sweet. And that all came without spanking him. And the spanking was actually going the opposite direction of what I wanted with him. So that's the testimony I have with him. And now I'm walking a new one with Connie that I think is going to be beautiful. We're still kind of in the middle of walking that one though.
That was an amazing example. Well said. Good job. Thank you for telling us that. Isn't it cool how we do that once with one kid and that experience totally shapes us, gives us the confidence that we need to keep going. Like even though you have all these other kids, me too, we still have these conflicts to work through. You gain so much confidence by just being brave and doing it with the first one that now, even though you're still on the front end of that conflict with them, it's not as scary anymore. It's almost for me, I'm like, oh, okay, this is good because I know what comes on the other side of it. I'm actually looking forward to going through this with them. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Totally changed my perspective about it. That was a great example. Another thing that I thought of when you're talking is, isn't it interesting how when we're not setting those limits with our child, and so they just keep, if there's not a boundary, but they're like pushing our buttons, and then we get angry, and then we want to lash out and yell or spank. And our heart in the first place was to love them, and they would feel that love. But it like has the opposite effect. Like because of our love for them and we're worried about putting limits on them or like keeping them from something, it actually has the opposite effect and it makes it worse. And then when we finally put those limits into place and we finally take some freedoms away, we finally show them what's at stake and then make them sit with it, how it actually makes your relationship with them better. Like you said, starting to see his value and you have that connection with him now. And it's not harsh. It's actually for their good. And your connection with them grows because we are sad about those limits. Just like the story I told the other day about making my kiddo leave the pool. Like I was so sad, but then we were sad together. And it really, really helps our relationships with them. Thanks, Hannah. That was great.
I had to walk it to be convinced because I heard it, but I never was convinced until I walked it. Now that I have walked it, I am very convinced.
And that's why I need to do this in community because who's going to do that on their own? I know I didn't. I would think that I had my big girl pants on and go walk in their room and then get scared because I'm all alone and the only person in my head is me. And I can certainly talk myself out of it. So that's why this community has been so valuable, is because we come confess those situations to each other. And then the people who have already walked that path are like, nope, turn around, go try again. You got this. Try again. That accountability is so important.
Oh my word. I love your story, Hannah. I love every part of your story. I've been in lots of parts of your story and it never ever gets old. What I'm thinking about while you guys are talking, I've been having this thought about Christ, how in my old Christianity, my emotionally unhealthy Christianity, not knowing my identity, I thought that Jesus died to come way down into the muck and the mess to lower the standard of heaven to us sinners. He met us where we are at the bottom in the muck, which is true. He did meet us there.
But the reason he met us there is to raise our standard to heaven's standard. And as I'm hearing you talk, what we do with our kids when we settle for what the boundaries are, when we let them be disrespectful without removing freedom, when we let them not be trustworthy, but we still allow them privileges, and we don't have a measured equality between responsibility and freedom. My kids' freedom is exactly at the measure that their responsibility demonstrates it should be. If I can't believe my kids about what they're doing in the living room when I'm in here at work, then I'm not sending them out to play with the neighbors. That would be foolish. When that's in order, what happens is they actually rise to the occasion. And Christ died for us so that we would rise to his standard. And that is full of having to wrestle with, do I think I can do his standard? Do I actually believe that when he was crucified and rose again, that he imparted to me a pure motivation operating system? Or do I still consider myself a son of disobedience, someone who's so prone to evil that I can't trust me, and no one else is trustworthy, even if they believe in Jesus? Christ is raising trustworthy sons and daughters. He raised the standard, and then he installed righteousness inside of us, which means I can trust the inside operating system of me as long as that's him. Oh my goodness, so mind blowing. It's, I don't think there's anything more thrilling to me than watching moms raise the standard for their children because of what I just said, because it's exactly what Christ does for us. And I hear the question I think that's most commonly asked when people first bump into this material online. They're like, tell me how to raise my kids into their identity in Christ. That's the big question. The answer is I let him go ahead and raise the standard for me. And I've built trust with myself living in that enough that I'm willing to raise it for them as well. And when we do that, they rise up. Spouses, it's the same with spouses. We are a biblical community. We're not the boss of any man as women, but we do get to step into a new place with Christ that calls them to a standard. They will come meet. Oh my gosh, how exciting is this? As we discover who we are, everybody around us discovers who they are, and it comes through holding the line. Isn't that incredible? Holding the line was the scariest thing. I thought I was going to break people. That was my thought. If I hold the line, I'm going to hurt somebody in an unrecoverable manner. The truth is, if I do not hold the line, I'm keeping all of us down here in the muck. Oh, this is so thrilling. Any listeners getting jacked up over this? I say this every meeting in Brave Moms Academy. This will never get old to me. This lights my soul on fire. Um, Alyssa, do you have another question for Hannah or another thought about any of this?
I think I got to ask all my questions.
Oh, so exciting. So very exciting. You said something else about community that was so key. I would not have been able to do this on my own because the reasons that I wasn't holding the line were so deep-seated. That belief that if I hold people accountable, I'm gonna irrevocably damage them was so deep-seated. And I didn't face those feelings. I couldn't get to the other side by thinking about it, by knowing it. I knew in my brain I need to have boundaries, but setting a boundary is how you learn to have boundaries. Like if you're a runner, you run. If you're a writer, it's because you write. If you're someone who has a boundary, it's because you had one. It's not because you knew it was a good idea. You only become it by doing it. And it's in the doing it that all the feelings come up. And I used to think that meant I was doing something wrong. And I needed outside voices to say, no, that means you're doing something right. And then I would say, well, then I need you to hear all these ugly thoughts inside of me because they're convincing me that it's wrong. Can you help me see why it's right? And get rid of all the shame that I feel for feeling this way just by looking at it with me. And then we watch this incredible fruit over and over. Ah, so exciting. Alyssa, I think I'm done if you want to wrap us up. Y'all, I'm so glad you're tuning into our new live show. It's so fun to do this with you. We have a funny thing that we say. It's a joke between me and Holy Spirit. He says, hey, Katie, you can do anything together. I want to make a sign for my wall that says, me alone, can do anything together because listener, my sweet listener, our dear listeners, our new friends, you're part of the reason this is happening. Without you, there is no Brave Moms Academy Live. So I just want to thank you for tuning in. Your call to action today. Ready? Somebody say action. Transformation does not happen because of information. It happens because of action. We're all learning that on deeper and deeper layers as we go. Your action step is to send this to a woman who needs to hear it today. Click the share button, send this video to them, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. We're going to be here Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. PST, beginning this upcoming Monday, May 4, and we're going to go on a ride every week, working through one topic at a time to help see your family emotionally set free, rooted in your identity in Christ, so you can be a city on a hill from the inside out. Because there's no liars in the kingdom of heaven, and y'all are about to be truly living in the redemption that Jesus has for you. Can't wait. See you tomorrow. We'll be back. Okay.